Okay, am I live? I think I am. Yes, maybe. If I am, hello. How is it going? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. How is it going? Zodberg, Cornbread, I'm sending them out. Cornbread. Thank you for my mysterious cornbread. Did he do it right when the delay is... Anyway, we're done with this. Okay. Hello, Purple Goop, Austin, Ren's the artist. Austin. I saw Zodberg is here. I saw a lot of people are here. Skeet, even at... I noticed they're just called posts, it seems like, which I liked Skeet. I was very disappointed. Can anyone guess from my audio where I am? I was wondering that while I kind of fuck around with the camera a bit. Giving Dutch angle here. Can anyone tell from the audio where I am? I'm curious about this. Hold on. I'm actually kind of curious. Is this the... Anyway, sorry. It has been a long week. And kitchen. Alright, you're right. I think you can tell. Oh, Javier Portello is here. Alright, I'm just going to switch over. Why mess about? Hello and welcome to Movie Crap. Movie Crap Live. How is it going today? It has been a very exhausting week. I was actually like, should I do this tonight? But I enjoy doing this. So I kind of, I don't know. I was like, I need to do this for me. But it's, so that's why, also, that's part of why there's only one segment this week. Also because when I do two segments, I have to eventually make those videos. And the backlog was getting crazy. So, only one. And we finally are doing a Felix the Cat thing, which I think is, which needs to happen. I could have done whatever the next Mickey Mouse is or whatever, but like Felix is always relevant, I think, to me. But yeah, Zane Powers is here. Hello. So I have what happened this week? We've been watching a lot of Speed Racer, and that's been fun. We watched one reason, like the desert race, which you only see him go on the desert race at the end. That one was really cool. We watched, what was the 3-parter we watched? It was like, I don't know the name. Hey, Nathaniel Fogo, but it was like this guy, the bad guy, put his sister in a car, and he remote controlled the car, and he would like hit people with it. I think it was called the X3. Anyway. So, here is the special thing for tonight. And I might keep doing this, is I have my new lights here. I'm just going to show them off, as well as my old lights, because they look better here. But see, these are the lights. They're flashing right now. Epilepsy warning, I guess. If I get to $20 in super chats, I will turn on the lights, and we'll have like a party or something. I don't think that's too demanding. I'm not trying to be. I just thought it's a fun thing. I realize there's nothing incentive. So every divisible of 20, I'll turn on the lights for a little bit. I don't know if this is I'm really confused on how triggered people are on episode, or ignorant. Let me just say I'm ignorant. I never looked it up, so I have no clue. But if we get to $20 tonight, I will. But until then, no, go up, turn off. Wait, I got these on sale at Home Depot. That's because they have this cool thing. I will get you Black Sea. They have this really cool thing at Home Depot. I'm going to tell you guys this. This is a dad trick. You do this thing, and you first Saturday of the month, and you go and you can build something for free with your kid, and it's really cool. And so every time we go, they always have lights on sale. So then we made like a cool basketball hoop once. We made like a snow diorama, and it's like free. You don't have to pay anything. It's super cool. So if you know anyone who has kids, it's really nice. Home Depot rules. I like Home Depot. And I also got my sunglasses there, and they work. William Ellman is here. Hello. All right, first super chat of the night. I got this. I was being cool about getting other energy drinks, but it's been kind of an exhausting week, so I got this on my way home at the grocery store. It's this Ghost Cherry Limeade. I'm sorry. I was gonna. It's been just an exhausting week, and I was gonna see Black Bag, and then I didn't, and I would have gone. I was gonna go to this place to check out the energy drinks, but whatever. All right, hold on. We have two super. Okay, all right. Bloxy Oxenwinkle. Kevin James should play every role in Snow White. You know what? I agree. I actually learned some stuff from the Double Toasted guys. I watched their thing that I didn't know. They were actually informative. They may have seen the movie. I don't think they did, but they knew stuff. So cheers to you, Bloxy. Thank you very much. I love the Kevin James. I like that Kevin James Super Chat is always the first one. I think that's cool. Cheers to you. I still think about the skit he did where he waves to somebody and it's not him. And that is a good sketch. I'm not trying to be whatever. Okay. Zane Power says, Jim, tell us your favorite battle you partook in Vietnam. I like that. Probably the one. Do you remember? They haven't done this in the MCU, but when I read comics, they had a comic that was. Oh, thank you, Cornbread. That was informative. They had this book called Nam, and it was like the Punisher, Wolverine. I think Forge was there. So whichever battle. I wouldn't want Forge on my team. I always liked Forge as a kid. Maybe I should try to get my Forge action figure back from my parents' house. I really like that. Forge is cool, and you know, he was the only dude cool enough to get Storm back in the day. So you know, that's like, and was cool with her. Also treated her well, you know, when she was going through that hard time. So Forge is cool. I've liked Forge for a long time. Anyway, sorry. I made up a fictional one. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. Other than seeing a lot of Speed Racer, we watched some Gem also. So I had just me and the kids one night, and I was like, let's just watch Gem and Speed Racer because I was sort of burnt out, and that was fucking cool. They're all on Tubi. Gem makes way less sense, but Speed Racer, it's like they can really go off. Like, I think if you never watch the show on Tubi, because after a while you're like, whoa. In some cases, the Wachowskis like pushed it to a new level. In other cases, it's like it was already this. Like, watch some Speed Racer. It's all pretty good. I gotta say. I think that's why I tweeted that thing, skeeted, whatever. That like they couldn't have had a Danzig joke in the fucking Gem and the Holograms movie, and now I hear people reappraising it, which annoys the shit out of me because I'm like, my issue with that, it's like not a good, like, I love movies like The Fabulous Stains and like Girl Man's. It's a dub. It's a dub on Tubi. I mean, they're kids. They're when they're older, we'll move to the subs. But right now with 8 and 3, it's got to be dub. Good question, Robin Lomax. But yeah, I never liked that movie. It's just like I'm fine with the girl band thing. It just didn't really. It didn't really. I don't know. It didn't really work. And then they like turned down a bigger budget to make that movie, which was like, but why is that a Gem movie though? That's the part I've never understood. Like, I hate it when people are like, I'm going to take this property and make a totally different thing. And unless your name is Josie and the Pussycats, you should. That is a bad instinct. Don't do that instinct. Anyway, yeah. Let's figure this out. You haven't got. I haven't done the subs yet, but I will. Oh, I should have said the James Dean Vietnam thing. I like that this is. It was a weird story, but I like that Austin is like keeps bringing up this AI James Dean thing. I feel like I've got to make. So I'm surprised we haven't seen a video like what was the deal with the AI James. Hey, Optimus Rimjob's here. Awesome. All right. What could I say? Other stuff. I can't think of anything. Sorry, it was just like movie crap, kind of short things. I just tired, and I knew if I did a review, it wouldn't get done, and I wanted to get some of those done. So that was my social media strategy. Is it finished? Cool, it can come out. Do I think I can finish this today? Okay. And so that was going. In fact, last night I fell asleep. several times while working on it, and then fell asleep while it was premiering. And I think Cornbread was the only one writing good night. So I'm sorry, Cornbread. But anyway, I thought they were good videos though. I was like proud of both of them, and I was kind of like, I did this to be shorter, but I got into the Porky Pig one. That was a good one, and I was able to rip a copy of that. The main thing I had to cut out was mentions of how to watch it on Max. I had to cut. So it's like, well, that didn't work out so good. Let me see. Oh, throwbacks this week. We had the POS podcast. It was about 10 years since I started on that. I know that is not as well remembered as the other podcasts I used to be on, Pizza Party. But I felt like it deserved a post because it was the first convention. It was the first podcast that got me to a convention. It's how I met Saber, who I still work with, as well as Paleo and Tommy Oliver, who were great. And I had a lot of good times. For a little bit, I'm not even joking, I had 2 podcasts, the YouTube channel, 2 jobs, and I had 1 day off a week. And I did that from, I guess all of it together was like 2015. Yeah, for like a year. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. That was too much. Dexter's Lab had one? That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, it took me back kind of doing that. But it's less remembered, but Forest Porn that was on there was Jax Blade and Ace Jax Blade wasn't on when I was on it that much. Like he became regular, and Ace I think as well were later. Or not like Jax was like in the crew and would show up, but I don't think he was as central as when I was there. I know other people came on and all that shit. So, yeah, I know Cornbread. Yeah, I did decide that. But anyway, there's a question where we answer your questions in the postcards. Oh, you can just message me those. That's what most people do. Wouldn't it be interesting? Pizza Party started in 2014. I'm saying when there were 2 podcasters in 2015. That's why I said it that way. I was on, I think it's like the October one, and then November. I think it's like 3 or 4. But anyway, I just wanted to give the POS podcast its day. I thought it deserved it. If we're throwing back to all my old stuff, I think POS podcast deserved a shout out, and that was in my mind the best episode, or the one that I've always heard about. What was the other one? And then this is the lamer one, I guess. It's not much of a throwback. The Beekeeper, because I can't keep doing throwbacks for Homecoming. I know everybody loves that movie, especially me, and it makes more sense because Stallone wrote The Wrong Man, which is going to be in theaters this weekend with Stallone, and I really like bringing up Homecoming and mentioning it for some reason, but I chose to do Beekeeper because The Wrong Man's more like Beekeeper. I don't know, if 10 people post Homecoming, I will for the throwback post Homecoming or something. If 10 people do in the chat, I guess, I don't know, right? I'm coming up with random dumb incentives, but yeah, check that out. Or it's probably going to be the Beekeeper. I don't know if anyone cares about Homecoming but me. I should have gotten that poster signed that I had by James Franco, but now no one wanted it because nobody likes James Franco. But at the time it was like, whoa, he's a villain in yeah, I could do a Pizza Party look back podcast. It would just be me and everyone who's not pants, since we're all in contact with each other but him. Anyway, all right, I can't think of anything else to mention, so let's move on. All right, so this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, where I could potentially, if we get to $20 tonight, I could potentially do that, and lights will be flashing near me, Izzy, and Felix the Cat. It would be crazy. Or, listen to me, holy shit. Or, sorry. Or through my Patreon, where you can all sorts of all sorts of cool stuff, like more power in the movie review vote. One of those is coming up soon, as well as the winners thing, which I got to do. And then the commentary series, which anyone will definitely be coming out soon. Hey George Tunes, all sorts of cool stuff. In there you get more interactivity. You help me be able to do stuff. My flyers are doing actually pretty good. So just know, I know a lot of people, obviously people do this for lots of reasons, but I do very much invest it back in the channel. So if you're like, hey, I'd like more people to check it out, one of the ways you can do that is by supporting me through Patreon or a super chat during the thing will give me more energy, and trust me, I need it tonight. Yes, but if you just like this video or subscribe, that definitely helps out a lot too. If you subscribe, you get things like the throwback posts as well as community posts, and if you have notifications on, you can find when everything comes out if you would like to do so. This is, of course, if you want to do so. If you just watch this, you're not even signed into YouTube, and this is your Tuesday night, and you don't tell anyone, and it's really dark, and you're on your phone in the closet, and you're like, I just need this to get me through the week, then hey, I'm here for you, person I've just made up. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you can give, if you're financially able to do so, I very much appreciate it. And thank you very much for watching, as always. Then we have, I'm gonna not mess this up. If you like everyone here in the chat, guess what? They're all, or most of them, not all of them. I don't want to speak for everyone. Hello, Medela Butterfly. 2015, the year of James. Why not? It was the year of people actually noticing me on YouTube, I guess. Sorry. If you like everyone here, you should join the Discord, which is run by Austin, Zane Powers, Ryan Walterson, and Cornbread. I think that's everybody. And they do an amazing job. They do awesome movie watches. What are they doing tonight? All Dogs Go to Heaven? Cool. We just talked about that. All Dogs Go to Heaven rules. Don Bluth. All right. They're watching on this Saturday. They're watching All Dogs Go to Heaven. They all have all sorts of cool stuff, including General's Crazy, where I ask, like, what you want me to talk about on Movie Craft this week. Cornbread does a thumbnail prediction. We do daily questions every day. Is the Discord I'm most active in. As well as there's movie news discussion. There's an Ask Jim section. There's a suggestions for Jim section. There's a licensed playing card chat channel, which I need to take pictures of these, and there'll be an extra playing cards related thing coming soon. No, it is not an April Fool's Day thing. I have a separate thing. For that, just for like the record. I do actually have a thing, but it's not a goofy thing. You'll figure it out when it's out. Hey, Taco Master. Anyway, I am also on Blue Sky. That is the thing I'm probably most active on. Twitter's just promotional. Tumblr is there. The Facebook fan page, the Instagram, the TikTok. It's all there. Go check it out and all that. Also, I forgot to mention this. The weird G.I. Joe magnet thing. I've had that magnet since 92. It has followed me to every place I lived. I figured, let's give this thing a fucking day. So that is what the deal is with that. I just thought, you know what? I should just let's let this thing get out there. It's been with me for so long. Since I'm going to say 92. I'm not 100%, but I've had it. It was in my room growing up. It came to college with me. It's like, it keeps going. I'm very proud of this stupid magnet. I figured let's preserve it. I'm trying to do that more with, like the Return of the Jedi pop-up book, which I'm thinking of doing another video because my Oscar loves that book. And I did it with Sophie to preserve it. So I like to preserve the stuff that's been in my life for a long time, and that was part of it. I know it's sort of like a silly thing, but I was also like, yeah, but if it's 10, I lost it and it's 10 years later, I will like that video, and I like that I can share it with people. I know it's a silly thing, but whatever. All right, let's actually feel like I'm just shooting the shit with y'all, which is fun. Y'all are cool. All right, for the first thing, let's talk about Scooby-Doo live action. Whoa, William Ellman, do Y outage? What? Hold on. What? Do retracted. Do I have a favorite Gallo? I don't know Gallo's as well. Error, try again. Oh, did you take it back? That weird. What happened? It's cool, man. I'm not sure. I think he just It went away. I'm a little lost now on what's going on. Anyway, if I do have an answer, wait, what just? No, we're still going. Okay. Um, I'm lost on what happened. Anyway, cheers to you, William Owen. My favorite Gallo, I'd probably say Blood and Black Lace. But if you bring it back, I'll talk more about Gallows. I've been spoiled stuff a lot, so there was no judgment. Anyway, but thank you, William Owen. Either way, I think I don't know. We'll see with the chat revenue thing after the next super chat. I think it's confused. All right. Regardless, Scooby-Doo live action. So what is this new Scooby-Doo live action? What's the deal with it? It is going to be an 8-episode origin story in live action. I think this sounds like bullshit. But here's the thing. Scooby-Doo is one of the most versatile franchises like ever in all media completely. Like, so anytime you get upset with the Scooby-Doo, you go, yeah, but like, how long is it gonna go? Like, what is the average for a Scooby-Doo show? What happened to that Seth MacFarlane looking motherfucking thing? What happened to, like you kind of just go, all right, whatever. This is also broad. This, by the way, sounds like the worst garbage in the fucking world, I gotta say. Because it's from Greg Berlanti, who, infamously from the, I think he's most famous for that, who's the gorilla in DC trying to kill Obama? I mean, that's like really what he's famous for. I think he made 20 million shows that crossed over or something, but to me, he's famous for the gorilla going back in time and trying to kill Barack Obama. That's his legacy. That's fine. If he can bring that kind of amazing clip, like, no, that is the most CW of all CW things. Like, I hats off to you, Mr. Berlanti. That is amazing. I think about that shit all the time. Gorilla Grodd. Okay, yeah, I think Grodd. Yes, let's make America Grodd again. That is, like, I've never watched any of that fucking shit. But okay, sorry, I screwed up. What I meant to say. Thank you, William Allen. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I screwed up. LOL. I meant to say, what is your favorite Gallo? I would say Blood and Black Lace. I know more of. Is that? I used to watch more of these. First off, cheers to you, Gallows. I'm actually gonna. Sorry. I will stop this for William Ellman because if anyone, I know the trauma of misspelling something and all that stuff. So now they're just playing some weird one. I mean, okay, people are listening to Suspiria. I don't know about. I mean, I guess Suspiria is better than Blood and Black Lace, but I like Blood and Black Lace. So like, is it Gallo? Is it Argento did Blood and Black Lace? No, it's Bava. Mario Bava. Hold on, Mario Bava. Oh, Black Sunday. I'm like one connection away from what's her name? And I met her once. Lady who's in, because I have a friend, Barbara Steele. I'm like one connection away from Barbara Steele somehow. I'm not. It's confusing. But anyway, I'm gonna say I'm gonna maintain Blood and Black Lace. Oh, he has the Grodd clip. Oh my God! Hold on. Sorry, this is a chaotic show. Let me just say, hey, Ink, how's it going? Let me just say, yes, I would say Blood and Black Lace. Black Sunday, yes, as well. But yeah, if we're playing Kevin Bacon connections, I'm one connection away from Barbara Steele. She does not know who I am. But I did help her on a Q&A once. And she's really nice. Anyway, but I'm going to say Bava. I'm going to maintain Blood and Black Lace. I always like that. I've seen that one a couple times. I am not a Gallo expert, but I've probably seen more that are more obscure ones. Anyway, regardless. I think through the Super Chats, I am past $20, but let me We'll do that after Scooby-Doo. Well, we gotta play the Grodd clip. It's 26 minutes. Don't hold on. Hold on.
It will almost be an honor to Barack Obama. It will almost be an honor to kill you.
Wait, why doesn't he move his mouth? Fucking Grodd. Anyway. Hey, Sidram came with a weird time. Hello, Yellow. Alright, so let's finish about the Scooby-Doo thing. So why is the Scooby-Doo thing horrible despite that it's in live action and it's doing the modern thing of telling an origin story over 8 episodes of a thing that a theme song would do? Like someone said, what was that famous tweet about Surf Dracula? That if there was a show about Surf Dracula in the 80s, you can't see me. What do you mean you can't see me? I can see me. You can't see me? I'm confused. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, the Grodd thing. Sorry. If Surf Dracula in the 80s, you'd see Surf Dracula surfing in the first episode, but nowadays with modern writing, you'd see Surf Dracula surf for 30 seconds at the end of the last episode, which I totally agree. And I think with this, also, this is done by 2 creators, Josh Applebaum and Scott Rosenberg, who have the distinction, and I know, Chad, I know you're going to go crazy when you realize these are the same people who made the live action Cowboy Bebop. So this sounds amazing. I mean, let's be real. This is going to be the most amazing thing for the cartoon community. No, I mean, this is here's the log line. This is such garbage. All right, this beloved franchise has impact on pop culture. Okay. Where the fuck is the description to Scooby-Doo base pack? Okay, here we go. The Netflix series will be a modern reimagining, like if it... like imagine Scooby-Doo, but if it sucked more. The show's description reads as follows. Here we go. During their final summer at camp, old friends Shaggy and Daphne... What? Okay. Get embroiled in a haunting mystery. Why Daphne, though? I don't... Whatever. I mean, they have been friends before, but it just seems in a haunting mystery surrounding a lovely lost Great Dane puppy that may be been a witness to a supernatural murder, together with the pragmatic and scientific Townie Velma and the strange but ever so handsome new kid Freddy. Wait, so Freddy's younger now? What? To solve a case that is pulling each other into a creepy nightmare that threatens to expose all their secrets. What secrets do they have? What is that? Where did that come from? Whatever. All right. This sounds garbage. Apparently, it says that Berlanti's first job was working for Hanna-Barbera. He said they would sign animation cells or something. So, Oh, thank you for Sinram's PTA alert. I was going to talk about that later. Phantom Thread is currently free on YouTube. Licorice Pizza is on Tubi. Inherent Vice is on Max. Thank you for that, Sinram. This sounds fucking garbage. I don't really know why anyone would want this. I don't get why Netflix is in a competition for Disney on who hates animation more, Netflix or Disney. That's the real fight for Hollywood. Is who hates animation more? Oh my god. Oh, you're gonna watch all 3? I have not seen Licorice Pizza, so before the new one comes out, I want to do a review of Licorice Pizza. That is the one thing I do want to do. Anyway, so since we actually are, because of William Ellman, thank you, William Ellman, I believe past 20, because he didn't, as long as you understand William Ellman, you both went through, so it's technically cross. Barbara Steele was an amazing performance, an 8.5. She is an 8.5. You know what? I will say this. Thank you again for a super chat, William Ellman. Because she always brings that up during Q&As, and the various people I know. Sorry, I'm like bragging about people I know who know Barbara Steele, but they always say, like, in Q&A, she likes to bring that up more than Bava and anyone else. She really liked working for Fleet, or she brings it up. I don't know. Maybe it sucked. I don't actually know. I just know she brings it up, but she was good in 8.5. All right, we will do. Let's do the. So thanks to William Ellman, we are going to do the amazing this for a few minutes while we. It has various settings like There's Meteor, which I don't know if that'll work well. Hold on, let me try it. Can you see that? Yeah, Meteor. Let's do the jump function. Okay, we're gonna just do jump for a little bit. Anyway, cheers to Willie Melvin for your super chat, sir. But she isn't. I mean, there's a lot of women in 8.5, but oh wait, she was an 8.5. Man, 8.5. Is 8.5 a good fleen to start with? I feel like no, but a lot of people say yes. But it was the first fleeing I saw, so I don't know. Wait, why am I not live on my? That's why I'm confused. Okay, so the Avengers Doomsday cast was announced in the worst way I have ever seen in my life. Now, I'm not a Marvel hater, but this was pretty egregious. I was going to talk about Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini is Mrs. Voorhees because Charlize turned it down. That's basically what happened. And I'm not excited for that show. So anyway, if you didn't see the Avengers Doomsday announcement, even if you're not a fan of Marvel, you have to agree with me. This is one of the worst cast announcements I have ever seen from any movie ever. So basically, what they did is they had, they did the whole cast and they showed movie chair, like director's chairs, and the name would be on the back each, right? And you think, like, how long is that going to take? Like, 5 minutes, and we'll slow it down and be like, oh, I didn't notice that or something. No. They made sure you're going to notice everything because it took 5 hours. That's not a joke. I want. If you didn't know this, it took 5 hours to announce a cast, and I get they want the attention. It reminded me of I don't like Game of Thrones. I watch a lot of it. It's not my thing. But they did this thing once where they showed ice melting to reveal the date of the premiere or something, and this reminded me of that. But it was worse because you click over because I'm doing this show. I talk about movies and care about that stuff, and so I was like, oh, who's it gonna be? And then you go, oh, they're still on Chris Hemsworth. Okay, what's going on? And then they'd play their music and they'd hold on them for 12 minutes, and it was like something like, I think someone said, maybe it was Mr. Code or someone said, like, did Andy Warhol direct this? Because it felt like his famous film Empire and stuff like that. It was just very bizarre. Like, why do it that way? I kind of think you could, like, everyone's like, oh, it's smart they did it on YouTube and had it live on YouTube and Twitter and stuff. I was like, okay, that was smart. But do it like the old days where, like, Feige comes out and it's like a Comic-Con type thing, even though it's not Comic-Con and all that stuff. We can, it'd be fun, and he announced stuff and he can show the pictures and they didn't do that. And they did this like 5 hours, man. Like 5 minutes would have been like, that's a little, I would have cut it down by 30 seconds, but 5 hours and like everyone's defending it. But I thought it sucked. Like, I just thought that was one of the worst cast reveals I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, that was really, really horrible. Like, I gave up on it. I was just watching Discussing Film's Twitter feed or Pop Crave or whatever, and I'd hit refresh on that because I was like, I can't deal with this crap. Like, this sucks. Like, and I know that Downey showed up at the end, but what if the Russos? Zane Powers asked, what if the Russos came out to announce the cast? I think. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. I think. To be honest, as much as I dislike the Russos, and they're super into AI, and we will talk about some AI shit later, I think they would have done a better job. All right, it's been 5 minutes, so we're gonna turn it off. But if I get to 40, I'm not sure how far we are to that. If I get to 40, which I guess I'm like 7 off from, then we'll do it again. If you guys like that, I don't know. If you hate that, please when I'm doing new stuff, just I do appreciate feedback. You can be like, that's the dumbest crap. But anyway, what were the smart things about this announcement. The one thing is it definitely made Marvel the big thing of that day. It brought an insane amount of people to their channel, YouTube channel and Twitter, and a lot of people watched the video. Although people have brought up that like views on trailers shouldn't matter because it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get... Oh, it's stuttering a lot? I'm sorry about that. Do I need to... Okay, sometimes I don't want to like disconnect my Wi-Fi right now. So it... but anyway, apologies about that. It's not the best. Yeah, it's not. It was just, I thought it'd be fun because I wanted to show off the light. Sorry. But the one thing they were good at is, and that's, I think a lot of this is, look, Marvel's not doing well right now. We all know that. We all know the deal with that. But, now I'm unmuted? I didn't want that. What was I going to say? There's been a lot of, thank you, Austin. There's been a lot of talk about, Marvel's fallen off, like no one's watching him as much. And every movie that comes out this year had its major heroes represented. This was about getting you to go, oh, right, Captain America leads to Avengers Doomsday. Fantastic Four leads to Avengers Doomsday. Thunderbolts leads to Avengers Doomsday. Now, I don't think it worked entirely because it felt like everyone I talked to, literally, like several people, and if anyone who talked to me about this is embarrassed, I think it just says where we are with this, is everyone went, there's Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, what's the third movie? And I'm like, Captain America. Like, I forget what comes after what comes out next year. But I do think it was done to be like, hey guys, Thunderbolts connects to this, Fantastic Four connects to this, Captain America to a certain extent connects to this. So I think that's more of what it was about, plus the X-Men casting. We had casting from the X-Men. We got Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, James Marsden, Rebecca Romaine, and Alan Cumming. Alan Cumming was probably... and Beast, who was in the Marvels. I don't think... and Channing Tatum, I guess, sort of. I think that was pretty surprising, although a couple of people brought up, like, have we watched Patrick Stewart? We're going to watch this guy, like, die a fourth time on screen. Like, how many fucking times can I watch this guy do this? Austin said, I thought they were announcing the cast of The Electric State. Nice one. Cheers to you. Thank you, sir. I saw that. It was really bad, and I almost, okay. The other cast, like, we got people like, I mean, some of it was like Pedro, the entire Fantastic Four, of course, all of the Thunderbolts, but one guy, who was it? Also getting chairs, and it was most of them: Sebastian Stan, Florence Pugh, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen, Louis Pullman, two Lokis. We have two Lokis? Okay, hold on. Oh, we're getting... Taskmaster wasn't included. Most of it was fine. I was surprised by... I will get to these super chats. Oh, I think we're past... Oh, we're past 40. Okay. Wow, this is going crazy. I'll do the thing right after this. I was surprised by who they didn't show. Actually, let me do these first. Sorry. Should they get Lucas Till back as Havoc? No, because he's been waiting. He refuses to be in anything until Monster Trucks 2 comes out. He called his agent and said, everything is a bullshit project unless I can work on a real film, Monster Trucks 2. Cheers to you, Lucas Tillman. Respect. And Nathaniel Focus says, love how they have two Lokis. What did you mean by that? Oh, is it because the Son of... Oh, my God. You brought up Son of the Mask. Wait a minute. Are you Jamie Kennedy? Is Nathaniel Foga not Nathaniel Foga? How do we know Nathaniel Foga is not Jamie Kennedy? Somebody find that out, because only Jamie Kennedy would bring up Son of the Mask, or the director of Son of the Mask. I don't know. Cheers to you. Sorry, I said that you're Jamie Kennedy. So I think the main cast was like whatever. I think it was kind of not the greatest. I don't know. I think it worked in hyping Marvel to an extent, but like there used to be a showmanship with this stuff, and it just isn't there. And to me, like it is just content for a why Marvel sucks now video essay. That's like mainly what it is, and I didn't think that worked as well. Supposedly this isn't the full cast, and a lot of people are saying this is maybe the main cast, and certain people like Simu Liu, who they haven't done right by Shang-Chi because of various executive writing messing around upheaval. Most people were surprised by Danny Ramirez, to be honest. Letitia Wright was a surprise, like having the Wakandas in here. Paul Rudd's little chair was cute, but I don't know. I think it's like without Spider-Man, I had a list of a few people. Sorry, hold on. Ramsey the artist says 4.9 million people watch the string of chairs showing up on screen one by one for 5 hours. Just think about that. I did think like, man, they really did get us though. I mean, that in a way it's like it sucks it's no showman, but like that's power. It's so many people. So many people were tricked by that. Anyway, cheers to you, Ramsey the artist. I appreciate it. All right, I think we're almost. This is wild. All right, I'm going to turn on the thing again. Okay, I guess I'll do it till 11:30. Here's who I think should have shown up. I mean, I know Elizabeth Olsen says she's not, but at least in this, I think she said both. But we have like Doctor Strange not being there is odd because he's sort of a major Marvel character even in the comics. Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Wolverine are Hugh Jackman basically. I was surprised by none of those were announced, and I find that to be weird. As well as like, is Tobey Maguire showing up? Is Andrew Garfield showing up? Like, are we saving all of that for Secret Wars? What's going on there? We have no cosmic characters at all. No Captain Marvel. No Jean Grey, which was odd. There's some speculation about Halle Berry because her and Robert Downey Jr. do not really get along because of an incident on the set of Gothica. So a lot of people think she might have just said, yeah, I'm not doing this. I don't know. The Halle Berry thing, it seems like people go back and forth on that. I think she was never given the opportunity to make that character what she could have. Do I think, I don't know. I stepped in it when I made that Angela Bassett video of people's disdain for Halle Berry and pro Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett did turn it down. I think she would have been maybe a better Storm, but like it never happened, so I don't know. But I think people are a lot more critical of Halle Berry. Almost anyone I talked to her saw online. So maybe it's some of that. Maybe it's she doesn't want to fuck with Robert Downey Jr. I don't know what the deal is. I think a lot of this is like who was confirmed and who they needed to hype up, but not, But it's weird. Like, so Spider-Man's not in it. Hulk's not in it. A bunch of people said She-Hulk. None of like Kamala Khan's on it. Like, I don't know. The omissions were odd, and I'm curious what the deal is. And like, are they all going to show up in Secret Wars? But most people said this is not the full casting. But it was kind of a very odd cast announcement. All right, I am going to talk about the Rachel Zegler thing, but let me find a smaller story. A lot of these are not. Okay, I'll talk about this, I guess. Sundance has moved from Utah to Boulder, Colorado. I've never been to the Sundance Film Festival. If anyone has in the chat, let me know. I'm curious, actually. But this is... nobody actually thought it would move, but a lot of people have been saying it had outgrown that city. I think it kind of sucks because I think Utah needs it more than... I mean, that area is just sort of fucked now. I don't know. But if they really do feel like it's bigger, my other thing with Sundance and a lot of these film festivals is they're not really breaking indie movies anymore. They're really just breaking established directors working at an indie level. And to me, if they're, because one thing I kept reading, how they need to redo Sundance, they need to open to a new audience, and this is a new era and shit. And it's like, okay, cool, bet, awesome, I'm glad you're doing that. But at the same point, it's like, why aren't you breaking more small movies, like new directors? We need more voices, we need new directors. That was your thing. That's why I know who Kevin Smith, or that's why we all know who Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, they all came from Sundance. Name me a new director who came from Sundance, first film like that. It doesn't happen anymore. And if I'm the Sundance Film Festival and I need more space so I can show off all that, all the big shit I have to play, then like, that's what you should be doing. That's what your focus should be. I'm so tired of indie film going like, oh, well, this is the independent spirit. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, just like, come on. Like, put out, like, give a small movie a chance. That's all I'm saying. But good for them. I hope it works out for them. I feel bad for the town that's losing it. That sounds honestly very devastating for that town. I don't know the politics of it. I don't know. Maybe they sucked, but whatever. All right. Austin says, I would like to see, these are Austin's suggestions for who should be in. Oh, also no Rogue and X-Men. Anyway, Austin says, I would like to see Cat from Flo, Smokey and the Bandit, Mothra, my kids are down for that, Big Bird, Farmer Jim, at 209, Alf, Bumblebee, Croachy Robot, Tom Servo, and mostly importantly, Katana Wolfman should chairs from Marvel. So no Gypsy? Where's Cambot? Jesus, Austin. No, I'm sorry. That was a good list. Cheers to you. I want Disney to announce, Katana Wolfman. Where is Kang in Avengers Doomsday? Well, you know what would be funny if they showed the variant of, like, what that movie, what Kang Dynasty would have been? I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that. Like they're fighting and they see various portals and they see them all fighting Kang. Like, show a storyboard or something. I would enjoy it. I ran out of letters. Okay, it's fine. I know I was being stupid, but cheers to you. He was filming the chair you never saw. Okay, fair. All right. Let's talk about. I do have to talk about like a serious thing later, so these are not going on during that. I'm gonna. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity tonight. I really appreciate it. All right, Rachel Zegler, and what the fuck is going on with that? So, there is a lot to unpack about the Rachel Zegler Snow White fiasco, as Variety wrote. I read the Variety article. I read a lot about that, but Snow White didn't open very well. The box office is actually not doing very good at all presently. I wish it was doing better. I think it is not. We're not in a good place, but we're going to talk about that later. We are going to talk about how Snow White opened to $42 million, and everyone has all these theories. Basically, everyone wants to blame Rachel Zegler because apparently, if you're like pro-Palestinian, you know that's why your movie bombed, and also she hates Trump, and that's how she movie bombed. And so many people kept writing, well, it's 50-50 red states and blue states on ticket sales. I actually found out that's actually not true. It's more 60-40 and more like 65-30 something, and the over is the blue states. So if anyone tells you it is 50-50, apparently it is not. No, there's obviously certain movies that do well in other areas than, actually Austin mentioned Smoking the Bandit. That actually opened in the South first to build buzz. There's certain movies that do that. But in a general sense, and in this movie, it was 60-40, let's say, around that. So, But almost everyone is bringing up that, her tweets and how they had to bring a social media thing and how Mark Platt flew to, like, tell her not to do that. Like, just call her. Like, why are you being so extra and weird? Like, I don't understand why. Anyway, and then his son got involved, but not the son that was in Dear Evan Hansen. What I found crazy about that, by the way, this is a tangent. So Mark Platt in this article flew out to tell Rachel Zegler, hey, stop being pro-Palestinian. Basically, don't say free Palestine, stuff like that. No more. You're ruining 7-year-old girls wanting to see Snow White, I guess. But then his son, who's not the Dear Evan Hansen one, wrote that, like, he had to be away from his family to, like, fly and, like, tell her off and stuff. And I'm like, so he couldn't have, that sounds like a Zoom thing. Like, it just sounds like he's dumb. But I was also like, wait, so he has another son who cannot get a break at all, but he made the one son make Dear Evan Hansen. Like, that mystified me. It was like you nepo baby one kid that far, but the other kid, you're like, I don't know, figure it out. That was that's gotta suck when he's, like, watching Dear Evan Hansen, because he couldn't just, like, be a page or something. Whatever. Wait, they're both in Dear Evan Hansen? Fuck it, I don't know. Anyway, supposedly this article that Tiana Siegel wrote, who apparently was also, like, has a history of writing, like, a lot of the Melissa Barrera stuff. Like, she very much is writes a lot of articles pointing at any celebrity who is pro-Palestine, which is interesting. But it basically tries to act like, because Rachel Zegler was writing pro-Palestine and is against Trump, like, it ruined the buzz of the movie and all this stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't seem like it did. The main problem is adapting a property that is the oldest animated feature film made by Hollywood. Now, I know you Prince Ahmed fans, that was not made by Hollywood, but it is literally, like, the oldest one with sound and songs and all that stuff. And, like, most of the people who saw it, I'm pretty sure, when it first came out, are, like, dead. Everyone I know who saw it when it first came out is dead. So, like, I don't think it works as well, because all the big hits, as almost everyone has said, has been Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin, and none of the other properties did as well. Now, people are bringing up Cinderella, because that opened in the 50s, but that also cost a lot less, than this cost over $200 million. I think it's also that, and the Double Toasted guys brought this up, and I think it is a really good point, is that Snow White is not successful because of Snow White, the movie, the animated movie. It's successful because of the Seven Dwarfs, and the Seven Dwarfs look like garbage in those trailers, and they didn't seem that endearing at all. So it's like they sort of miss the appeal. Like, they could say, like, well, the appeal of this is Snow White and not the dwarves, but, like, why would you just not have them? I also think the problem with that property, and I've noticed it when my kids see the Descendants movies, is, like, they didn't really, like, think that they'd be making franchises and crap off of this stuff in perpetuity forever. And, like, the queen is just called Evil Queen. Like, it's very simplistic and stuff, but it's also, like, the first big animated thing to that level ever. So, like, when people go, when people act like it's simplistic stuff, I'm like, well, yeah, but nobody had done it before at all ever. So, like, I don't know. Zane Power says, can Mark Webb do Snow White better than Spider-Man? It doesn't sound like he did, but cheers to you. Dan brings up a good point that he had Toys of the Seven Dwarfs, not Snow White. Exactly. No, I have two things about this. I have a couple things, though. One is, I keep seeing people say, well, Rachel Zegler shat on the original film. And I'm like, I didn't like hearing that she did. I thought that was not cool. But here's the thing about that. I follow a lot of classic animation people. A lot of Facebook groups of animation people. I follow Jerry Beck. I follow every animation historian who has any sort of presence anywhere. If those guys were all going to be upset about what Rachel Zegler said about Snow White, I would have heard about it. And I looked, by the way. None of them gave a shit. And I'm going to be honest, why did we all let the people who think animation is a genre tell us that they're upset that Rachel Zegler didn't like the original Snow White? Like, if there's anyone whose opinion on this would actually matter, it would be those people, and they didn't care. What, we should not have let that happen. It really hit me when I was reading this article, like, those motherfuckers, like, they can't even spell flow right, and I gotta listen to them talk about the art of fucking animation. What the fuck? Like, you're not preserving 30s animated movies, you're just being a dick. Like, anyway, this whole thing sucks. Here's my thing with the thing that I don't like Disney live action remakes. I don't see them for my own, like, mental health. I'm not even joking. Like, I really don't like them. I don't think they add anything to culture. They don't even sell merch beyond when they're out, other than the Little Mermaid thing. I still see Little Mermaids off of that in Target and stuff. It's pretty clear they're selling at this point, or they're every Toy Story walkthrough is just really bad at stocking, I guess. I don't know, but like, they just don't do what they're meant to do. But like, budget wise, I keep seeing Disney re-release Star Wars movies, and that's cool. Star Wars is great to see on the big screen. If you want to see Episode 3 and you're really into it, I highly recommend you do. Star Wars is great to see on the big screen. Wonderful. Re-release the Disney animated movies. Like, I would consider taking my kids to a re-release of Snow White, and then you take it off Disney Plus and say it's going to come back with a new restoration after it have its theater run. We'll bring it back to Disney Plus. Just like, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then you play it and people will be like, oh yeah, I'll take my kids, that'll be fun. Like, people would see it, and you just spend marketing and probably sell a bunch of fucking toys that you're already doing. And just like, I just don't understand, like, why spend this much money on doing these things, because like, Cinderella came out 10 years ago, and like, I was thinking about even a throwback thing, but I was like, I don't think anyone like gives a shit about these movies. Like, you never hear them referenced. You never hear, like, is there a meme from them? Like, is it like any cultural resonance to any of these things other than like people debating if The Lion King is animated or not? Like, there's no scene from it that goes on. I just think they're like empty culturally, and like, shitting on Rachel Zegler because she's like pro-Palestine, or like, you know, when she was asked if she's going to the Oscars and she says, no, I wasn't invited, and like, how dare she, or whatever. Like, I get that like all these people have weird conservative ulterior motives to these, particularly like female actresses who are outspoken, and it's like super creepy and dumb and weird. But like, please stop it. Like, what are you defending? Like, it's like not even like a worthwhile thing. Like, I just think it's like whatever. The other thing about Snow White is a lot of people are saying, well, it could recover, and Disney is good at recovering in movies. The Mufasa example, because Mufasa did open lower, but it opened at Christmas, and like, people seem to forget when it's not Christmas. The Christmas box office is its own unique weird thing, and like, you could basically make $20 million a day for a week, and then suddenly you're like, holy shit, this movie has an amazing box office. But like, on the weekend, it doesn't look as good. People saying like, this could be like that, and I'm like, not really. I've seen the example of Elemental distributed by Disney and how that stuck around. I could see this because Disney is very good at getting theaters to keep their films, although Disney doesn't really have the juice to do that. Like Good Dinosaur, they kept in as many theaters because they had Force Awakens, and now they have Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which maybe those are going to be good, but at the same time, I just don't think they have the juice to like keep this in theaters if it's not getting seen. Now, people are a little slower to see Disney films, because there are like tons of people I know who don't see any movies, but they see every Disney movie. So like, yeah, it might do okay over time, but I don't think it's going to be the same as what happened with Mufasa in that box office. That stayed in the top 10 till like a week or two ago. I kind of hope we're over these things, but and I know Dan just mentioned in the chat, said remakes of Lilo and Stitch, and I hope they flop. I don't think Lilo and Stitch is going to flop. I actually think that'll do pretty good. How to Train Your Dragon, I'm not sure about, but it's like, we're animation people, you know, and I think most people are going to be like not into it. So Yeah, Ink's bringing up the 3D re-release of Lion King in 2011. Yeah, that did actually pretty well. I actually think if you released the big four Disney Renaissance movies, like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, they would do pretty well. You know, put them on a shitty weekend. I bet you know, you don't even have to market it that much. Just have a banner on Disney Plus and, say unavailable till it comes back. You have a dumb documentary on film restoration and all that stuff. Like, I just think it's like you could really get it to work for yourself with a lot less money. Like, it just feels like you're unnecessarily spending, especially like people watch old movies in theaters more now than they have since like VHS started. And that Snow White, by the way, I think I said it in a video, and I find it to be an amazing stat. Until I think Oliver and Company, it was their highest grossing animated film of the 80s, a re-release of Snow White. So it's like, go back to that. Like, that used to be their bread and butter. It's just re-releasing the old stuff. And it's like, I don't know why they don't anymore. And they were going to do it with 3D, but I think they, like, stopped when 3D was going out. Because remember, there's a Little Mermaid one. And then since they'd already done the 3D, you could only see it, like, at these screenings where it's, like, a bunch of kids. And I didn't have kids then, so I didn't go. And anyway. I don't blame Rachel Zegler. I think she maybe, like, I don't know. I think some of it is like, I think she should be able to say what she wants. Her saying like fuck Trump and stuff like that. But maybe if like, if you're, the only thing in the article that I could see some credence to is that supposedly her being as outspoken was causing some safety concerns to Gal Gadot. I'm confused on how, if that is true or not. If it is, then, and she was aware that, like, please stop doing this or your co-star will get death threats and stuff, then that is a different situation. I couldn't find in any of the articles any real proof of that. So that's my only, like, caveat where, like, I read that and I go, if I'm saying something and someone else I work with is getting death threats, like, and I continue doing it, that would be asshole-ish behavior. But to me, it's like, was that more just because of what Gal Gadot represents? Like, do we know there's a connection there, or just keep throwing things on her? If there is a connection there, then I will, say that was not cool to do that and put someone's life at risk and their family. But if we don't have an actual connection, like, fuck those motherfuckers. That was the only thing I used to be like, that's a little, like, dicey. I don't know. But it seemed like they were blaming so much stuff on her. I was like, felt like she was going to be like, like the author is just going to start blaming her for, like, someone has to do her dishes or something. It was like getting kind of stupid. All right. I'm going to talk about, I guess this is the serious start, the director of No Other Land. Since I did review it, I wanted to talk about him and who this director was, because I don't think it's immediately clear. So one of the directors of No Other Land, which is the we're real pro studying tonight, I guess. I mean, I am, but that's still no, Corporate is bringing up they what happened to Galaga is they also said they beat up her security team. They kind of insinuated, but I was like, that was the only thing I was like, that's the only beat of the whole thing. I was like, was there a connection? And if there was, anyway, what does that mean for Rachel Zegler's behavior? That was the only time I really questioned it, to be honest. But I also went, it feels like there's blaming her for shit. So, the director of No Other Land, was basically like kidnapped and assaulted by Israeli forces earlier in the week. This is man, this is kind of horrific, some of this stuff. But he stood outside his house, was beaten up in front of his 18-year-old daughter in a pool of dried blood. Cool. That's from CNN, everybody. The director of this, because I have brought up before that there are the two kind of if you see the film, there are two sort of leads telling you most of the story, and you don't really see the other, because there's 4 credited directors, and I was confused who the other 2 were. Supposedly, this is one of the 2 I was confused about. This is Hamdan Bilal. He is in the film. He debates them quite a few times. The two main guys, who's one's Israeli, one's Palestinian, who the film focuses on. He is that guy. He comes up a few times. So if you see the film, you do actually know who he is. He was actually released. He did say he thought he was going to die. Um, uh, um, I personally, I don't know. There's certain elements of this thing that's like, it just sounds like what Israeli forces did, and if you see the film, it kind of makes sense. Not makes sense, but is sadly predictable. I'm glad that he is okay, and I'm glad his family is okay. A statement by the Academy, part of me felt that, like, why would the Academy give a statement? But then they did, and it was terrible. So I kind of am like, you could have, like, given some support. You know, he was kidnapped and beaten up in front of his family. I'm a little confused on, like, what we're really trying to do here. But I think clearly, like, they know this film is powerful. They know this film is saying something they don't want, and they went after one of the directors. I hope the other three are okay and stay away from that. I recommend this film. I've seen it getting in a lot of theaters. I have actually questioned. I don't know the theater count, so maybe I'm wrong about this, but I have questioned, like, does it actually need a distributor at this point? But maybe it just needs it to get streaming, because where is this going to stream? And it should stream. I kind of am like, just make it free, but I understand you want to make some money, because the amount of, like, things are getting destroyed and traveling and things like that. Uh, uh, it, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope. No, I mean, I don't know. I hope they don't suffer any further repercussions. I'm not sure. It didn't. The one thing I couldn't find is if, to me, I honestly think, knowing what we've heard about Israel, that he was targeted and this was on purpose and things like that. But I'm glad that he was freed eventually. But I wish more of the Hollywood community would support them. Um, but I don't know. I hope he is okay. I hope, he gets some rest and heals up. But I think, like, leave them. I don't know. Leave them the fuck alone. Like, it's already out. Like, what do you? It's just very. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have the words, but I highly recommend that film. I think it was one of the better documentaries of the year. I did get some blowback, but it's more because how I like to review documentaries is not necessarily how most people do, because I like to talk about the filmmaking, and I know people don't. They just want me to talk about the issues, and that's their things. Anyway, I don't know if there's a good. I wanted to talk about it because I reviewed it, but it just stinks. It just, there's no other. I don't know, and I feel like that's like, I don't want to give a false reaction or something like that, but I did feel. I thought when he was kidnapped, I was very sad for him. I was very scared, because if you've seen the movie, you know how real of a threat that is, and like what happened to the one. I think it's Basil's dad at one point. So just it's scary, and you see what happens to the families as they're waiting for their if they come back. Even though Basil's dad had been arrested a lot of times, but he took it very, very seriously. For obvious, like, if your dad got arrested, you wouldn't be like, oh, chill, we can, hang out. Or so, you know what I mean? It's just, like, very horrific, and I feel bad, especially like an 18-year-old. 18-month-old who witnessed that. I mean, in a sense, like are you trying to grow more distrust for you? Like, to me, it's like they're too high profile. Leave them alone. But I guess that's not how they think. So, anyway, if you have not seen No Other Land and you have the opportunity, try to see what's playing near you. I really do recommend it, and you will show theater owners that you will go support these kind of things. So, like how I was very much into How to Bomb a Pipeline. I saw that. If you see a film that's about the politics you agree with, and you're like, how can I hear more about that? A good way to force capitalism to talk about those issues is to give it money, basically. So if you are pro-Palestinian, I recommend going out and seeing it, and I think you can rent it on Prime. So maybe try to do that as well. Which part of me thinks like maybe the distributor just doesn't, because they're like, well, what would I do at this point? But I think I need to hurry up. But we'll. Okay, there was the trailer for One Battle After Another, the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. It came out today. It looked like a lot of fun, like kind of revolutionary. DiCaprio married a revolutionary, has to sort of get back the daughter, I think. I actually rewatched, my wife and I rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was saying, like, I think DiCaprio is really good at playing, like, a insecure white dude. Like, he is really good at it. It was like, if I think of, like, his best stuff in his recent older career, I'm not counting, like, Titanic and, like, his rise, I think he's really good at being a silly dad kind of thing, like, you know, and I think when I saw him doing it again and acting stupid, I was like, this is the DiCaprio I like. He has long wanted to work with Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm sure if you watch any movie thing, someone will bring up he was almost Dirk Diggler, you know what I mean? And then he had to choose between Boogie Nights and Titanic, and he picked Titanic. I think that was a good idea, but for him, and I think Titanic, he was just perfect and perfectly cast, perfect. I still don't know why he wasn't nominated for that, you know, but whatever. My daughter watches Titanic a lot. It's not my favorite movie, but he's kills. I mean, it's like, you know, an all-timer role. Like, so many people know where they are when that came out. So, but it was a great trailer. It looked fun. It looked more of the Paul Thomas Anderson movie. What was the Paul Thomas? Not Cornbread didn't, or Cornbread. Sin Ram. I'm sorry, Sin Ram didn't mention it. It was in Incoherent Vice. It feels more like that, but I'm down for that. I like that. I think he has some. And let me say hello, Takumi Fujiwara. I think. Sorry, I think he has a little bit of, and I'm going to say this right, Robert Downey Sr. in Paul Thomas Anderson, which is why he wanted Robert Downey Jr. to do an Incoherent Vice. Robert Downey Jr. will never do an interesting thing again for the rest of his fucking life. Like, he will never do an interesting movie. I will move on from this. So Malcolm in the Middle, and I wanted to clarify this, and then we'll maybe talk about, man, we are like, there's some things I could talk about for a little bit, and then if I didn't talk about something, no. Oh, Inherent Vices on Max now. Thank you. What about, okay, hold on. Sit around. What about Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, Heart 8? Is that, There Will Be Blood? We want to know them all. Come on. Is Fiona Apple's, what was it, paper bag video on YouTube still? All right. Let me go through a few things. Oh, okay. Malcolm in the Middle. We found out that Dewey. I didn't get to do the Ben Affleck thing. I'm sorry, Austin. I apologize. Okay. By the way, you do not have to, but if you want to, you can. But you do not have to. The character of Dewey was recast in the Malcolm in the Middle reboot. Before anyone goes for their pitchforks for this, the reason for it is the original actor doesn't act anymore, and when they asked him, supposedly he said no. I want to give the reboot credit because unlike when Halloween Kills did it, they recasted the kid in that who came back as Anthony Michael Hall. They didn't even really ask the other guy. So I will give them credit, and that happens a lot. Like, the other guys, like, you know, you see a Facebook video on them at a convention, and like, yeah, they didn't really even talk to me or audition me. They just, you know, I hadn't acted in a while, and they said no. Supposedly he doesn't act anymore, and he was asked, from what I'm to understand. If that is for real true, that's awesome that they actually respected his wishes, and that they asked him. That's awesome. You know, everyone else sounds like they're coming back but him, and they gave another guy a chance, and that's cool. So I got to give him credit for that. I know everyone's going to be like, aren't you mad? And I'm like, I'm not mad, because I've heard people getting fucked over, and it's cool that he's not. So if anyone says, I can't believe that, be like, no, they actually did a good thing in my mind, but maybe that's not true. We saw another trailer, two trailers I want to talk about. One was Final Destination Bloodlines. I would like to, when this comes out, review Final Destination 2, and then like every time there's a new Final Destination, I will add to my, because I reviewed one. Was that 10 years ago? It's been a while. It looks cool. It's basically about a grandmother who escapes death, and then her family is killed off because she escaped death, and so it looks fun. Francis, what does that mean? I'm confused about that. Same powers, but it looked like a cool movie. Tony Todd is in it. It looks like a fun Final Destination to me. It was probably my favorite trailer I've seen this week, and a good concept. And that thing with there was this thing with a piece of glass that went from like a drinking glass, like that was actually pretty cool. For that. I have seen people get upset about the Malcolm in the Middle casting, but a lot of people do not read full articles. The Pavements trailer. So there's this weird movie about the band Pavement, where it basically goes from, it's both a documentary about them, there's a group of young actors playing Pavement at the same time. It looks very kind of weird and interesting, and I actually am cool with it. But what I thought was hilarious is you have, at one point, you hear someone talking how great Pavement is to Pavement. And it's, is it, hold on. Okay. It's Noah Baumbach. And next to Noah Baumbach was Greta Gerwig. And then I remember the part in Barbie where she complains about guys how great Stephen Malcolmus is. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't know it was him. He helped write Barbie, so clearly he was in on the joke. But it's like a funny little thing that I was like, that's pretty funny. For the record, I never tried to impress women by knowing I listened to Pavement. Nobody cared. I was more of a Sonic. I was more like, Pavement's good, but Sonic Youth. I did like Pavement back in the 90s, and I remember running away from my church's youth group and then hiding and listening to Crooked Rain. I do like Pavement a lot. It's been a while, so I am actually interested in the movie, but it sounds like a cool person. But I loved seeing that Noah Baumbach thing. I was just like, when I realized what was going on, I was like, okay, that's fucking funny. I noticed nobody said in the comments of the trailer that I saw. Maybe I'll leave that comment later. I think I used to like Slandon and Chanson more, and I know Brighten the Corners. I know people like. I never fell in love with that one as much, and I always felt like I need to sit down with more. Let's do a couple of things. We found out that Nick Frost could possibly be cast as Hagrid. I'm gonna be honest. I was disappointed, but I'm also like, Nick Frost doesn't get big roles. It might have just been like, I think I skeeted that it's either I should be disappointed in Nick Frost, or should I be disappointed in Hollywood for underutilizing Nick Frost, so he has to do this. I hope he doesn't play Hagrid. I don't love that this show is happening, especially right now. Oh, I forgot about The Master. Good on you, Syndrome. On Tubi, cool. But I think it sort of sucks that they're doing this show, and that particularly that they won't cut off JK from all this stuff. And I don't know. Nick Frost is Hagrid. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but at the same time, I'm like, I really wish he wasn't doing it. We've learned that the producers of Bond are the two people who are going to run the James Bond franchise. Is going to be David Heyman, who is most known for the Harry Potter movies, which is still running the show. He also is doing the Paddington movies. He's also worked with Alfonso Cuarón, so you're hearing a lot of Alfonso Cuarón rumors for Bond, who I think would be, if you can get him to do it. Cuarón does what he wants. Basically, I don't know what his next project is after his Apple show. It would be the most amazing idea to get him to do Bond, but we'll see. As well as Amy Pascal, who I'm not really a fan of. I know people are like, no, I don't blame the Sony hack on her. I actually didn't like her because of those Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies were terrible. So that my beef with her is that the Spider-Man movies are bad. And every time she gives an interview, I'm not counting Sony hack stuff. I know she said a bunch of dumb shit in those. She always says like the worst thing. She's like one of the worst. Like I don't really get by Hollywood is like, I know she supports Greta Gerwig, and like there's certain films she's championed that I do like, and I'm happy that she got across the finish line. But for the most part, and I know she helped work on like people bringing up Casino Royale and Skyfall, because I think she was fired before Spectre, but I'm not 100% on that. I just don't. I don't know. I've never particularly liked her. I just don't really get why you would hire her for something. I don't get why she gets big stuff too, because like it was like, did you see those Spider-Man things? Like she was a major part of like making that into a thing, and it's like, why would you promote someone like that? But I guess like anyone who's involved in like Garfield Spider-Mans is getting promoted. It's like Mark Webb gets so light, she gets Bond, Andrew Garfield gets to exist. I don't know. All right. The only other thing, sorry, I don't think I would have had time for the Ben Affleck thing. I mean, he basically was just like, you know, he didn't like his time as Batman stuff, right? I think that was. Now I feel bad. You know what, Austin? I'm going to look up the Batman thing. I'll write something about it on the Discord. Anyway, I will look this up further because I didn't. Whatever. I really will. At some point tomorrow. I think tomorrow I might. I don't know if there'll be a thing tomorrow because I think I'll be tired tomorrow. The other thing, I think this happened during the show last time, was Bong Joon-ho asked John Carpenter to score his next movie, and I love the picture is of Bong Joon-ho going like, yay, and then John Carpenter going, oh fuck, I hate doing things. So I am both those people, because I'm like, I hate doing things to John Carpenter, but then I'm also like, I would like a Bong Joon-ho directed movie with a John Carpenter score. Sounds awesome. So I'm with both of y'all. Okay. I think box office. Okay, I want to talk about a few box office things, and then we'll take a break. I apologize. I kind of just do what I can and what I feel like I have good material on and stuff. So apologies. It's never like. It's usually because I know I'm gonna suck at it. So, but if you anyway, but thank you all for all the suggestions. It does actually really help me figure this out. So, what's going on at the box office? Nothing good, basically. We're not talking about Snow White. We're just talking about the overall thing, and this should be brought up. Now, we're 5% down overall from 2024 and 16% down from 2023. None of this is good for box office, particularly going into a summer where like our biggest thing is July, so you're probably going to hear a lot, like with like, you know, Superman, Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park is all July. It feels like most people want to do later summer because guess what? You get to coast through August and even be in theaters in September and make some of that money. After when Spider-Man Homecoming did that, whatever year that was, like I feel like everyone learned their lesson. Same with Guardians, they learned Marvel's lesson from that, because it really helps you to have a couple months of nothing so you can just like coast in the fifth slot. But this is not good for the box office. It's not good for the future of movies. I think a major point of this that people are bringing up is economically, things are bad and not good at all. And I noticed when these times happen, I noticed this in 2009, no one can go like, hey, maybe nobody has any money, and so they can't, like, you know, go to the movies every weekend. A lot of people aren't like me and have, you know, a movie pass, or I have the Regal one, or like the AMC. A lot of people don't, and it's like they have to pay full price and stuff. And I also think some of these, like, you know, I want to see Black Bag. I haven't yet. And like I saw The Day the Earth Blew Up and Dogman. These are just films in the top 10. And Paddington Peru, which I need to edit that video, and Captain America. But like I feel like a lot of these are not anyone's like, oh shit, I got to go to the theater, unless you're a dork like me and you like Soderbergh. I think things like, you know, Mickey 17 is like a weird film. Like Snow White, not anyone's real thing. You know, I feel like a lot of this is just like we don't have anyone's real first choice, where we're seeing things like Dogman is at number 9. How many weeks is this fucking thing at? Dogman's been out for 8 weeks. Paddington Peru is at 11. It's out for 6 weeks. Like, I think family films work out a little more because people will go and see them. But overall, it's like, I think part of it is there just isn't, it says Northernlands, according to the Box Office Mojo, is in 130 theaters. That's pretty good for a documentary. I think it's sort of working out for that movie. But I mean, not fully, obviously, but I think a lot of it is you need a real big thing to like get people excited, and there just isn't really that right now. I think Sinners could work. I think I'm really curious about the Minecraft movie. I haven't heard. I don't know anyone in real life who's super excited, but it just feels like just because you have movies opening doesn't mean people are excited to see any old fucking movie, and I think that is kind of the problem. But I don't know. I actually think there are good movies right now. To be honest with you, I was thinking like, how do I have like two new Soderberghs and a Looney Tunes movie? Sounds like movies are great right now. I don't know. And Dogman was fun and like stuff like that. So I don't think it's as bad, but I think for an audience and like in terms of like what they're going to see and be excited by, I just I don't see that presently. And even like the day the Earth blew up, I think had no advertising and all that. So it's just kind of I think Hollywood and people who cover the movies and have some power should really be helping movies. I think I haven't noticed a lot of that, and I think we need to. One thing that's really changed about movies and no, my kids are like I want to see. Oh, hey, Rat Boy Mickey, thank you. No, like I'm probably gonna take at least my daughter to it, but like anytime I ask kids, they're just like I don't know. Like the excitement isn't really there the way like Mario or Sonic is in from what I've seen. I mean, maybe it'll blow up really big, but I just don't think there's. I think it's like nobody has the money, and but anyway, sorry. What I was gonna say is like it used to be like an Entertainment Tonight or even Access Hollywood or Siskel and Ebert, whatever, would showcase smaller movies. And anytime, the few times I've taken a point to watching these shows, they just talk about the big stuff. And I think like we need to put more of emphasis on the smaller stuff because that's like helps theaters, and it just feels like it's just become more big business. But like it's better to help people have some business at all. So before I got a break, Rat Boy Mickey says, "Cheers to my can of Monster." Cheers to you with Ghost there. Thank you. I think, or did we hit? Wow, this is. Oh, we hit 60. All right. During the questions, I'll have that on. Again, sorry, it's like a dumb. It's just like maybe it'll be fun. All right, I'm going to take a break. We might actually end sort of on time. I would like to get to as many of questions at the end. We're going to talk about Felix the Cat, his first cartoon, Feline Follies, and all the deal with that after I get back. Thank you all. This has been a fun show, and I really appreciate it. After a dumb week of nonsense, it's cool to chill with you, and you guys have been really cool. I really appreciate it, by the way. Anyway, I'm going to take a break, just use the bathroom. Then we'll talk about Felix the Cat, and then that'll be that, I guess. Or then the questions. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll talk to you shortly. I need to have music for this part. I know. I'll do it soon. Okay, hello. Welcome back to Movie Crap. Let me take some water. Okay. I don't know why I didn't have the camera on, but anyway, thank you all for being here. We're going to talk about... Can I get this to just be one color? What was the Halloween one? Oh, that looks cool. Should have just had that going on the whole time. It looks better in the other... I was going to just have it permanently there in my living room, but we'll see. Can we do the... I don't know. This camera is not good at... the streaming camera is not as good at the lighting. Anyway. Then, music one. This is the music one. Whoa. I guess it syncs up with something. Anyway. Alright. Sorry, I'll have it going during the question. Before we start this, I have the Felix part. I have wanted to do a Felix, more Felix reviews when I realized I really have never done any, and that's embarrassing because I love Felix the Cat. My one thing I'm going to talk about, this is the first one. If, this will not be part of the video, I'm just going to tell you all this during the stream. If you want to get into Felix the Cat, these are films. This is a film from 1919. People were not, look, if you ever get into silent film and old films, sometimes you see stuff and you're like, whoa, not cool with this. So, like, there's one I would like to talk about that might have something like that might be separate from a live stream thing. But if you're going into the very early Felix the Cat, just, like, be careful if you are sensitive to stuff. I think there's one Felix Day that has some, like, sort of racist stuff in it. Most of them are kind of chill, but if you're going to deep dive into that, just, like, be aware that can happen when you're getting into films from the 20s. They were not the best educated about those issues then, so you can imagine. So just, I love Felix the Cat. It's great. There's only one that has problematic things that I like, but not for the problematic reasons. I just thought I'd put out the warning because I know people can get, I don't want you guys to feel, go like, whoa, what did I just step into? You know what I mean? But anyway, okay. Wow, 1919, there were still wizards back then. Nice, Cornbread. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the first Felix the Cat. Sorry. So today we're going to talk about the first Felix the Cat cartoon from 1919 called Feline Follies. Now, there's a couple of things that are a little confusing, I think, about this cartoon. One, he's actually not called Felix the Cat in this. He's actually called Master Tom. Now, at first, you might be like, hey, so this is not Felix? Everyone considers this the first Felix despite that. I don't know exactly why we do that, but they do. I'm going to describe the plot of this, and you'll figure out why towards the end, because you're not going to believe me. But apparently Felix gets the name Felix by the third short, and there are actually previous cartoons that Pat Sullivan Studios, which this cartoon is actually created by Otto Mesmer, who made it. A lot of people compare the Otto Mesmer Pat Sullivan thing to the Ub Iwerks Mickey Mouse thing, and even in the Wikipedia of this episode, they mentioned that Grim Natwick actually claimed to have created Betty Boop instead of Max Fleischer, but I'm not sure. That one I've never heard before. However, even though there were previous cat cartoons, which are all lost, most of the early Felix and that kind of stuff is lost, this is considered the first Felix the Cat. I think there are some similarities to what a Felix the Cat cartoon would be later on. This is the one where Felix becomes the father. Jordan Stoloflo. So basically, what happened? The one thing I really like about this, and we talked before about a previous Mickey Mouse cartoon. I forget which one. If anyone wants to remind me, that's fine. Where Mickey Mouse, the cat goes away so the mice can play. And I think I've seen I don't know if I reviewed another one, but I've definitely seen a few of those. And I thought this was my favorite one because instead of seeing the cat go away and the mice play, you see a little of the mice play, but the cat goes away and you sort of get what the cat, sorry, or Master Tom is doing when he goes away. So Felix, or Tom, meets a beautiful white cat and starts singing to her and stuff like that, and is really into her, and he wants to I think he says he wants to give her his 9 lives and all this stuff. Um, uh, um, um, he starts singing to her, and the whole neighborhood wakes up in like this cool like shadow kind of thing. They do a lot of word balloons, not just title cards. They do word balloons a lot in this, which I kind of like when silent cartoons do word balloons. I sort of like that idea. It makes it a little more dynamic than title cards. I'm fine with title cards, but whatever. Um, oh, it was when the cat's away. I thought it was a Mickey shirt. That's right. So Felix is just like not really interested in what's going on at home because he's in love with this girl. He's having a good time. You see the cat. You see the mice have a lot of fun stuff. At one point, Felix plays a song for the lady white cat, and some musical notes come out, and then him and the lady turn those musical notes into motorcycles, which that is the surrealism I really like about Felix the Cat. This isn't super weird, but it is kind of fun. Good night, Dan. Thank you for being here as long as you could. Um, but which that element is like pure like the surrealism I like about Felix the Cat, because Felix the Cat's kind of a weird. He is the first cartoon movie star, but he is also fucking weird. So anyway, Felix has a great time with this lady. He drives around on his motorcycle, musical note motorcycle, has a great time. Is like all in love with this lady. Comes back, just falls asleep. You can tell the house is trashed. The lady comes back, is like, why is my house trash? What's going on? Felix is like, I'm out of here. This lady's too much for me. And now Felix or Tom is homeless. He goes to find the girl he was with, and now she has a ton of kittens. I don't know how long Felix was asleep. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but it's Felix the Cat and it's weird, so I'm just going to go with it. Felix decides he does not want to deal with the amount of kids that this lady has, and then goes to the local gas works and kills himself by ingesting gas. So that was how a cartoon movie star was born, you guys. That's just how it happened. No, I kind of like this because it puts a genre on its head. I mean, I think this is like 10 years before the Mickey Mouse cartoon I reviewed before. But it also, and I've seen so many versions of this, but I like that one, it takes a totally different perspective. Like, it's basically like if you look at like The Big Lebowski takes on a character in a mystery that you never focus a movie on. And this is like, what if I took this kind of story and focused on the cat rather than the mice? And it's actually, I think, a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. It's a lot more hangout kind of thing, which I really liked about Feline Follies, to be honest with you. I thought it was really fun. It's a good starter, like if you want to watch, say you haven't watched, I think this is the oldest thing that I've reviewed on stream, at least. If you want to get into older silent films, this is a good one to start with because it's pretty easy to go down. It's weird, but it's not as weird as Felix can be. I guess it's still weird. But I thought I liked that what Otto Mesmer did with messing with the genre of these things, having fun with it, showing how freewheeling Felix is, and like kind of getting like why you would like him, but also like making a cool hangout thing. It's like you get the idea that like he liked falling in love and all that stuff, and then he just decides to off himself, I guess, in the end. I was like, this is not my favorite Felix the Cat. He gets redesigned a little later into what I really know about Felix, and a lot of the stuff after this is lost. I probably at some point maybe I'll make a lost Felix the Cat, lost cartoons of Felix the Cat video. But I think this just shows the sort of possibilities of Felix the Cat. Kind of hints at it, but it's just sort of a fun, like, I think the main thing I liked about it, watching it, is how it switched the genre of when the cat's away, the mice will play thing, and it had fun with it. It's not, an amazing genre in itself, but at least Otto Mesmer looked at this and go, well, wouldn't it be fun if we just show what Felix is up to, rather than, jamming out two mice dancing around, which seemed to be more of Bob Iwerks' thing. So I quite like that, actually. I know it's sort of like maybe the point of I think normally is you show off your animation skills by showing the mice playing. And this, he's showing up his animation and story skills by showing Felix instead. So I think it's a little deeper than a lot of those. It takes on a different take on things. And I think that's sort of like what makes it interesting to me. And it sort of just hints at, it's a different design of Felix. I don't love it as much as the classic design right here of Felix the Cat. I like this design more. But before that, I think it is a good introduction on the possibilities and who Felix the Cat would become later on. From Pat Sullivan Studios, who claims he made them, but isn't. Anyway, Australia's favorite cartoon character. Take that, Bluey. All right, I'm going to write questions below. I have watched Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. I like Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat is a very good adaptation of Felix the Cat. All right, let's get to the Patreon question. Oh, when will we get a Felix the Cat and Garfield crossover? I think that would be cool. Man, Mandela Butterfly asked a question. Cheers to you, man. Thank you. I think that would be cool. I think Felix the Cat really should crossover. Like, Felix the Cat would be good. A examination on Adult Swim, because of the surrealism. Get a good animator in there, mess about with it. I think that would actually be the best. But Garfield, I think Felix would just be chilling, chasing things while Garfield eats some lasagna. All right, we'll just have this going. If this annoys anyone, I'm sorry. I think this was fun. I thought it was fun. Godzilla vs. Felix. All right, where are my... I feel good about this episode. Okay. Shut up, computer. Come on. Okay, Cinram first. Who don't we have a Nathaniel Fogg? Oh, we have 4. Okay, I'll do Jordan Bouchard first. Are there any stories from meeting any voice actors you could share with us? The only one that... I saw you flashing over there. The only one that... Why are you doing that? That's weird. Okay. The only one that really surprised me a lot was we met the voice of Baymax. Nolan and I did it at New York Comic Con, and that's the one that was like the most... And he was cool. I forget his name. He was on 30 Rock and stuff, but he was really nice. He was just hanging out with a comics creator. He wasn't... And Nolan's the one who figured out and asked him. So Nathaniel Fogg asks, at this point, would you genuinely be shocked to see the new Avengers films? No. I mean, I would be surprised. At this point, I'm more surprised if they're good. I sort of think they would be, but I'm nervous about a lot of things with them. So, Sinram, who asks, when your kids are older, say when they're teenagers, can you see them participating more actively in your videos, reading films, and giving more detailed opinions with greater frequency? I do have like a thing filmed of them talking about a movie that I need to edit, but I sort of do it based on what they want to do. So if they like really would like to do that, but I'm always like, if we're filming something and someone gets tired or frustrated, I'm always like, we can just stop. Like, you can go play. So I've never really wanted it. Like, there's lots of movies, like I saw Dogman, I just read it by myself. So I possibly we're a bit a ways from that, but it's like what they want to do. And I think they should maybe do their own thing. If it was me, but if they want to do like every now and then, but I should do another thing with them, but I need to edit. There's a million things I need to edit. I'll be honest with you. Austin says, hey Jim, Sorry, hope you well. Had a great show. I'm not. Wait. I hope you had a great show. I'm not show. What? Okay. If you want to do this question first, since April 1st next week, or you could do it next week. My question is, I'm not sure what place it will be at the moment I write this, but I imagine the first YouTube question is from Cornbread. My question is, if you bought the Looney Tunes and own all of them, what would you be doing with them as IP? Sorry, I was like tripping over my words there. I would honestly just make shorts, and I would try to get them to play before movies. I don't understand like why we don't, like, every Warner Brothers movie doesn't open with a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, that's honestly what I would do, is like have them open with different movies. You know, I think that would be cool, and then release them on YouTube, and also do the thing I think I mentioned before. I think they should be, get every short they have that is appropriate and all that stuff, and like tag it correctly and have each short on YouTube and stuff by itself, so you could search them. That would be cool. Cornbread. Hey Jim, great answer to Austin's question. Thank you. I actually thought it was very shocking, very bold, very controversial. Speaking of controversial, I think it's controversial to not mention Felix's Aussie icon status. I mentioned it at the end, but yeah. I mean, even in this household, sorry Felix, I think Bluey's number one. But I did like, for a little bit, I'd bring that up to people. That was like, that's the only time you guys have really gotten mad at me. And anytime I bring it up, it's like, that doesn't count. Zane Powers, thoughts on Kevin Feige being, now I'm like regretting this whole thing, being nervous about the Russos directing Avengers after Electric State. I have heard those rumors. I think it's because people saw the Electric State. And that shit was bad. So, I mean, I kind of get it, but I think he probably knows the previs and who Marvel and all their stuff can get that to work. I think they can get it. I think the Russo brothers can be the studio directors that they're good at being again. Or I hope, or we're really fucked. Godzilla vs. Felix. I think Felix could win because he do enough weird stuff. But I think Godzilla would put up a fight. Austin, why was it easier to teach oil diggers to be astronauts than to teach astronauts to drill oil? Because no one wants... You know why? You see, here's the thing Affleck doesn't get. In my head, I'm like, because no one wants to watch the movie about the astronauts drilling oil. People want to watch the movie about the oil drillers being astronauts. That's a more interesting movie. That's why. That's, if we want to be real, that's why. Jordan Slaflo, what are some weird Robert Downey Jr. movies you would recommend to watch? I know he did a couple of his dad's films, and I haven't seen those, but I would say I liked him a lot in Wonder Boys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And I was making a case that he should be more interested. Now I can't remember anything. Wasn't he in Good Night and Good Luck, the original one? I would probably say I liked him a lot in Wonder Boys. I'm just gonna go with Wonder Boys. It's late. Let's just go with Wonder Boys. Zane Powers, should we stop arguing that it's parents' responsibility what their children watch because that never seems to work? So writers should be mindful of that for impressionable children. No, I mean I think most parents just don't, like, they're just like really toned out, and I think that's unfortunate because I think they're very missing out on making sure you what they're taking in. I think too many people look at television as passivity, and you shouldn't look at television as passivity. And I think that's the problem. And the problem is, like, you're asking for media literacy from people who don't acknowledge media as anything other than chill out time. And although I like to chill out and watch stuff, there's more to engage with as a viewer. And I think a lot of people do not view television as anything other than passivity. What was that? I don't know what that was. All right. Cinnamon asks, did you skip Licorice Pizza in theaters because of COVID? I think yes. I believe that's true. That's why I missed a lot of stuff. So I feel like I'm still Catching up. Should Kevin James be the new Felix the Cat? I feel like he would do a good job, so maybe. Cornbread. I think according to fellow mod, I'm supposed to ask a question relating to Amy Pascal. Can't think of why. Any suggestion questions? I don't know. I'm sorry. Favorite ghost flavor? Maybe Swedish fish. That's from Nathaniel. Question. Did you see the TikTok post? Casey Sue is my hero for putting Austin Powers and Goldmember in her letterbox for. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean I found that to be interesting. To be honest with you, I was like, I do like them doing a bunch of cast members at once thing. I think that is a little fun. I think you mentioned that on the Discord. What should I do for my birthday, Ratboy Mickey? Have a good time, man. Do what you want. How about that? Have some ice cream. Okay, I'm turning you off. Like, what the fuck is this? It's like, here, how about, let's do Meteor. Okay, that's at least fun. Give me Meteor. What's the best off-brand product? Black Seahawks went off-brand. I guess they used to make a lot of cheapo Power Rangers ones, so I'd say that one. Modelo Butterfly. What fairy tale should Disney make an animated movie of next? I would actually say, I don't know, but I think they should make a Black Cauldron, the live action, a show of the actual books that make up Black Cauldron. I've always thought they should do. Mblood T. Did Marvel scam people for sitting through that lengthy stream? I mean, a little bit. It was dumb. Black Winkle. Is there any animated property you'd actually prefer to see in live action? Maybe don't. When Your Father Gets Home. I watched that recently. It was literally the worst fucking shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, probably that. Wait, how many questions are there? Where are we? Are you invincible? No. That's from Ratboy Mickey. Cornbread. Did the Avengers thing work out in the long term because people will forget about the chair thing by the time the first trailer? Okay. Good point. Ink. Have you caught some McKimson Looney Tunes cartoon on TV lately? Any shorts that stand out as highlights for you? What's up, Doc? Oh, I can tell you too, because I keep a thing. I saw Bear Raid Warden from 1944, and I saw a little Audrey cartoon called Supreme Court, which that was cool. It's like little Audrey went on court for man's thing against that. So I haven't seen actually any McKimson ones lately, unfortunately. But I sort of just put it on when I have the time, and it hasn't been a good week for that. Mblood T. Also, should people bully Disney if they pull the budget cut time draining shit again? Yeah, they should. Zane Powers. How outraged are you that Carl Rentz has been unfairly canceled by Netflix for lost in the claim? Oh, no. I think that guy, you mean the director of 47 Ronin, I'm assuming. I don't think he's being unfair. I think he got away with murder and he's getting in trouble now. Black Saxon, what are some things that capture that silent animation magic in the modern day? Regular Show is good at it. A little bit of Oh My God, Yes. I'd say those two. Sort of Scavenger's Reign and Common Side Effects. Could Creech defeat Doom? Absolutely. Zane Powers, have you ever known when an adult hangs out with his friends with kids in real life, it wasn't weird? What? With his friends and with kids and I think it depends on who you are, but I don't think it is. Ratboy Mickey, who wins, God or Felix the Cat? Felix the Cat. Not plausible. Is technology good or bad? It's bad. Oh, I didn't talk about AI and the Ghibli thing. Oh, well, guess what? I don't like AI. Warner Brothers will destroy this single story building Looney Tunes was once housed. Should we set the Warner on fire? Yes. Thoughts on the Hawk Tuah documentary? I'm not going to watch it. I don't get the appeal of that lady. Zane Powers, it's not true, is it that politicians don't actually believe in the policy and claims they make? They only jump on whatever is beneficial to them at the moment. I do sort of agree with that. Cornbread, should we all go see Minecraft so Jordan can have a bank check movie? I mean, that would be cool, but I don't know if that'll happen. But maybe. Mblood T, is Alex Garland's Warfare really an evil military propaganda, or is it just some neat C genre movie? I kind of get both sides, but I think it's a C genre thing. Did you ever see Felix the Cat the movie, Nathaniel Fulk, in the 80s, and I don't remember it? Let's do a couple people who have not asked a question. Not plausible. What's up, Doc? Nothing. Wait till your father comes home. That's just boneless on the. Yeah, it's fucking horrible. Like, hey, Chan talks more movies. I think that's everything because I am fading. Would you rather watch Snow White and the Huntsman or Snow White 2025? Snow White and the Huntsman. All right, I think that is it. If I did not answer your question, do it in the comments here or do it in the Ask Jim section. I will answer them. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all your support tonight. I want to give a big shout out because I did not expect all the super chats tonight. That was really nice, you all. I really do appreciate it. So I want to give a thanks to, let's do this in order, Black House Winkle, Zane Powers, William Ellman, and William Ellman because he deleted one but didn't delete the money part. Zane Powers, Austin, Zane Powers, Nathaniel Foga, Ramsey the Artist, Austin, Zane Powers, Rad Boy Mickey, Videla Butterfly. Thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it. Cheers to you. The next show, 2 programming notes. The next show will be on, I think it's April 4th is a Friday. It'll be a Friday show next week. I think there'll be stuff out this weekend. It's been a crazy ass week, so it might just be shorts. I'm sorry that this week's been a little spotty. I think, I do have an April Fool's Day thing. I hope that gets done in time and all that. So apologies, but we'll be back soon. But you're still getting stuff, so it'll be cool. Don't worry. But anyway, you all have a good week. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. I'll see you then. Have a good night. See a cool movie. How about this? Everybody see something they want to see. Everybody see something cool. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you all. Oh, I'm almost at 2 hours. I feel like I should just wait for 40 seconds. No, you know what? I'm just not going to. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Bye, and thank you guys. Thank you very much.